He wasn't supposed to make it. Too poor, too small, too wild. Born in the chaos of the streets, raised in the fire of hunger. But Manny Pacquiao didn't care about odds. He didn't wait for a chance. He fought for one. From sleeping in the boxing gym to electrifying arenas across the world, he became the face of a nation, an 8-division world champion, the only one in history. But beyond the knockouts, beyond the belts, was something even more terrifying: how he trained. Before the cameras rolled, before the press conferences, there was just sweat, miles in the dark, rounds upon rounds with no end, a mind that refused to break. He didn't train to win, he trained to destroy. And now at 45, with nothing left to prove, he's coming back. One more fight, one more title, one more storm. But to understand the fire that still burns in him, you have to go back to when the world was chasing him, and he outran them all. Welcome to Back to Boxing. Manny Pacquiao wasn't born with a silver spoon. He was born with a fighter's heart. Growing up in General Santos City, Philippines in the 1980s, life was a daily struggle. Raised in poverty, Manny slept on cardboard in a shack, one of 6 siblings in a family scraping by. At 12, he dropped out of school to sell bread and donuts on the streets, helping his mother feed the family after his father left. Hunger was a constant companion, but so was his grit. At 14, he discovered boxing, sparked by watching fights on a neighbor's grainy TV. Legends like Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard ignited a fire in him. He started training at a local gym, wrapping his hands in torn cloth, hitting makeshift bags and sparring older kids. His uncle, Sardo Mejia, saw raw talent and taught him the basics, but it was Manny's relentless drive that stood out. By 16, he was fighting amateur bouts, weighing just 98 pounds, often against bigger opponents. His first amateur fight ended in a loss, but he kept coming back, fueled by a dream to escape poverty. In 1995, at 17, he turned pro, fighting for $2 a bout in small-town rings. A year later, he won the OPBF flyweight title, catching the eye of promoters. By 2001, he landed in Los Angeles, walking into Freddie Roach's wild-card gym with nothing but a duffel bag and a hunger to be great. That kid from the streets was about to change boxing forever. The foundation, roadwork. Every Pacquiao training camp began the same way, with roadwork. But this wasn't your average morning jog. At 4:30 a.m., while most of the world slept, Pacquiao would lace up his running shoes for what trainer Freddie Roach called the foundation of everything. His roadwork routine was methodical and brutal. Pacquiao would run 6 to 8 miles every morning, but it wasn't just about distance. It was about variety and intensity. The first 2 miles were always at a steady pace, building his aerobic base. Then came the sprint intervals, 400-meter bursts at near maximum effort, followed by recovery jogs. This wasn't just building endurance, it was training his body to recover quickly between explosive efforts, exactly what he'd need during 12 rounds of championship boxing. But here's what made Pacquiao's roadwork different from other fighters: the mental component. Roach noticed early on that Pacquiao did his best thinking during these runs. Away from the cameras, the crowds, and the pressure, these solitary miles became his meditation. He'd visualize his upcoming fights, replay combinations in his mind, and build the mental toughness that would later define his career. The roadwork also served another crucial purpose: weight cutting. During his career, Pacquiao moved up through 8 weight divisions, often gaining significant muscle mass between fights. His morning runs, combined with the Filipino heat and humidity, would help him shed excess weight while maintaining his cardiovascular base. Brandon Rios once said, "You think you're in shape until you try to keep up with Manny on his morning runs. The man doesn't sweat, he pours, but he never stops smiling. That's when you realize you're dealing with someone built different." The laboratory, gym routines. After road work and breakfast, the real work began. The Wildcard Boxing Club in Hollywood became Pacquiao's second home, and under Freddie Roach's guidance, it transformed into a precision instrument for creating boxing perfection. Pacquiao's gym routine was divided into distinct phases, each targeting specific aspects of his game. The sessions typically lasted 3 to 4 hours, broken into focused segments with specific goals. Heavy bag work. Pacquiao would spend 45 minutes to an hour on the heavy bag, but this wasn't random punching. Roach had developed specific combinations for Pacquiao. sequences designed to maximize his southpaw advantage and create the angles that would later confuse opponents like Oscar de la Hoya and Miguel Cotto. The famous Pacquiao flurry, a rapid-fire combination of left straights, right hooks and uppercuts, was drilled thousands of times on these bags. Speed bag and double end bag. Hand-eye coordination was crucial for a fighter who relied on volume punching and accurate power shots. Pacquiao would spend 30 minutes on the speed bag, developing the rhythm and timing that allowed him to throw 100-plus punches per round while maintaining accuracy. The double-end bag work focused on head movement and counterpunching, skills that would prove crucial against technically sound opponents. Mitt work with Freddie Roach. This was where the magic happened. Roach, himself a former professional boxer, understood angles and timing like few trainers in the sport. Their mitt sessions were poetry in motion. Roach would call out combinations, and Pacquiao would execute them with increasing speed and power. These sessions served multiple purposes. They improved Pacquiao's accuracy, developed new combinations, and allowed Roach to fine-tune tactics for specific opponents. Strength and conditioning. Pacquiao's strength training was functional and boxing-specific. Medicine ball work for core power, resistance band exercises for hand speed, and bodyweight exercises for functional strength. He avoided heavy weightlifting, preferring exercises that improved his boxing performance, rather than just building muscle mass. What made these gym sessions legendary wasn't just their intensity, it was their consistency. Whether he was preparing for a world title fight or a tune-up bout, Pacquiao approached every session with the same focused aggression that defined his in-ring style. The crucible, sparring sessions. If the gym work was preparation, sparring was where Pacquiao tested his improvements against live opposition. His sparring sessions became legendary in boxing circles, not just for their intensity, but for their strategic purpose. Roach was meticulous about selecting sparring partners. For each opponent, he'd bring in fighters who mimicked specific aspects of Pacquiao's upcoming challenge. Preparing for Floyd Mayweather, bring in slick, defensive southpaws. Facing Miguel Cotto, time to work with aggressive pressure fighters who could bang on the inside. But here's what separated Pacquiao's sparring from other elite fighters. He treated every session like a real fight. Former sparring partner Hank Lundy recalled, "Manny doesn't spar, he fights. Even in practice, he's looking to hurt you. Not maliciously, but with the same intensity he'd bring to a championship bout." The sparring sessions typically lasted 8 to 12 rounds, depending on where Pacquiao was in his training camp. Early in camp, the focus was on getting his timing back and working on new techniques. As the fight approached, the sessions became more intense, with Pacquiao working on fight-specific strategies. One famous story comes from his preparation for the first Miguel Cotto fight. Roach brought in Puerto Rican fighters who fought in Cotto's aggressive pressure style. Day after day, Pacquiao worked on creating angles against pressure fighters, using lateral movement and counterpunching. When fight night came, Cotto, one of boxing's most feared pressure fighters, couldn't get close enough to do damage. The strategy perfected in sparring translated directly to victory. Pacquiao's approach to sparring also revealed his mental toughness. He would often take punishment in these sessions, getting caught with hard shots, getting pressed against the ropes, but he'd always respond with increased aggression. This ability to fight through adversity, developed during countless sparring sessions, became one of his defining characteristics as a champion. The core, physical and mental foundation. While the boxing-specific training got most of the attention, Pacquiao's core and mental training formed the invisible foundation of his success. This is where champions separate themselves from contenders. Core training. Pacquiao's core work was legendary, even by professional athlete standards. His routine included 2,000 sit-ups per day, but not all at once. He'd break them into sets throughout the day. 500 in the morning after roadwork, 500 after gym training, 500 in the evening, and 500 before bed. This wasn't just about building abdominal strength. It was about developing the core stability that allowed him to generate power from awkward angles and absorb body shots without losing his balance. The core training also included extensive lower back work, crucial for a fighter who relied on explosive hip rotation to generate power. Hyperextensions, back bridges, and rotational exercises were daily staples. This foundation allowed Pacquiao to maintain his power output even in the later rounds of grueling fights. Mental discipline. Pacquiao's mental training was less obvious but equally crucial. He was known for his pre-fight visualization sessions, where he'd mentally rehearse entire fights, imagining different scenarios and his responses. This mental preparation helped him adapt quickly during actual fights when his original game plan needed adjustment. His relationship with religion also played a crucial role in his mental preparation. Pacquiao would often pray and read scripture during training camps, finding peace and focus that translated to confidence in the ring. This spiritual discipline helped him manage the pressure of being a global superstar while maintaining his focus on boxing excellence. Recovery and regeneration. Perhaps most importantly, Pacquiao understood the value of recovery. Ice baths after every training session, massage therapy, proper nutrition, and adequate sleep weren't luxuries. They were necessities. His ability to recover quickly between intense sessions allowed him to maintain the volume and intensity of training that his success required. The mental aspect of recovery was equally important. Pacquiao would often spend time with his family between training sessions, playing with his children and maintaining connections outside of boxing. This balance helped prevent the burnout that ended many promising careers. The system, putting it all together. What made Pacquiao's training legendary wasn't any single element. It was how everything worked together as a systematic approach to boxing excellence. Every aspect of his preparation was designed to support and enhance every other aspect. The roadwork built the aerobic base that allowed him to maintain high output during gym sessions. The gym work developed the technical skills and power that he tested and refined during sparring. The core training provided the physical foundation that supported both his offensive and defensive capabilities. The mental discipline tied everything together, allowing him to access his physical tools under the intense pressure of championship competition. Training camps were structured like military campaigns. Each phase had specific goals and benchmarks. Early in camp, the focus was on building fitness and working on new techniques. The middle phase emphasized sparring and fight-specific preparation. The final weeks were about peaking, fine-tuning techniques while maintaining fitness and beginning the psychological preparation for battle. Freddie Roach's role in systematizing this approach cannot be overstated. While Pacquiao brought incredible natural ability and work ethic, Roach provided the strategic framework that maximized those gifts. Their partnership created a training methodology that influenced how elite fighters prepare throughout the boxing world. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of the Pacquiao system was its adaptability. As he moved up in weight and faced different types of opponents, the core principles remained the same, while the specific applications evolved. Against technical boxers, more emphasis on angle work and counterpunching. Against pressure fighters, more focus on lateral movement and combination punching. The system was flexible enough to optimize for any challenge. The legacy continues. Which brings us back to 2025. At 46 years old, reports suggest that Pacquiao is training with the same intensity that defined his prime years. The road work still begins before dawn. The gym sessions still last for hours. The sparring still resembles warfare more than practice. But this comeback attempt represents more than just one man's refusal to accept retirement. It's a testament to the enduring power of the training methods that built a legend. While other fighters have tried to recreate elements of Pacquiao's approach, few have succeeded because they focus on the visible components, the volume, the intensity, the spectacle, while missing the systematic discipline that made everything possible. Modern fighters often rely heavily on technology and analytics, seeking marginal gains through data and optimization. Pacquiao's approach was different. It was built on fundamental principles of work ethic, consistency, and systematic improvement. There were no shortcuts, no secret techniques, no revolutionary equipment. Just relentless dedication to proven methods executed with unwavering consistency. The question isn't whether Pacquiao can still access the physical tools that made him great. Recent training videos suggest he can. The question is whether the boxing world is ready for a reminder of what's possible when natural talent meets systematic preparation and unlimited dedication. Whether Pacquiao's 2025 comeback succeeds or not, his training methods have already secured their place in boxing history. They represent a blueprint for excellence that transcends the sport itself. A reminder that greatness isn't built on talent alone, but on the daily choice to push beyond comfort zones in pursuit of perfection. The Pacquiao method wasn't just about creating a great boxer. It was about creating a standard of preparation that redefined what's possible when human potential meets unwavering discipline. And that legacy will endure long after the final bell rings on his remarkable career. The fighting pride of the Philippines may be approaching the end of his journey, but the training methods that built his legend will continue inspiring athletes across all sports for generations to come. Because champions aren't born, they're forged, one rep at a time, one round at a time, one training camp at a time. Let me know in comments what do you think about this, and thank you for watching Back to Boxing.